Whatever challenges you find yourself in right now, whatever misfortunes you've had happen to you in the past, whatever weaknesses you are aware of or limitations you find yourself stuck with, there is still an opportunity to be a good human being. In fact, that is the aim. Wherever you are, whatever problems you are facing, it's still to lean towards goodness. It's to strive towards being a good human being that adds value to the world, that makes the world a better place. So here are 5 of the most surprising ideas about the core qualities of a genuinely good human being. Number 1, they are objective. Now this is challenging because by nature we start out as very subjective human beings. We see the world not as it is, but as we are. We come to the world with perceptions, with filters, and we generalize, delete, distort what's going on around us to fit our map of reality. So we think naturally that what we see is all there is to see, and what we believe is all there is to believe. So we naturally assume we're right and our experience is true and to be trusted. Yet, as Stephen Covey so cleverly says, one of the wonders of being a human being is that we can think about our thinking. We have the ability for self-awareness. We can get outside ourselves and look back in. That's actually a really beautiful quality of good human beings, because every moment spent being objective about your subjective experience helps you take yourself less seriously. It helps you to realize that all we have is story, really. Like no one can see clearly about what's actually happening. We see evidence for whatever we believe is true, and we all believe different stuff is true. So the more objective you can be about your own experience and your own map of reality, you come to realize that the map is not the territory and everyone's got a different map. So the gift of doubt becomes available to objective human beings. They realize that they're wrong, probably about a whole bunch of things. And that sense of being wrong gives them an opportunity to be open and present and aware for better opportunities, for different opportunities. So they come to the world open. They come to the world humble. They come to the world receptive. This is from Brian Grasso and Carrie Campbell, the 4 stages of transformation. Stage 1, acceptance. And specifically, we are accepting that all we have is story. We are sense-making creatures. We go into the world and we tell stories. Subjective people will never accept that. Objective people kind of realize that's true. Secondly, the awareness required to know what's your specific story. If all we have is story, well, what story are you living out of? What are the peculiarities around what you believe is true and what you think is real? If you can understand your story, then you can navigate your way to enlarge that story, to question that story. Number 3 is accountability, not to anyone else, but to the fact that you are the storyteller, not the actor. You've got the pen. You're the one making sense of your experience. And the final A is adaptation, acceptance, awareness, accountability, and adaptation. As long as you are accountable to the pen, that is choice and responsibility, your life cannot not adapt to the new story that you're writing. Objective people have access to transformation, which means they get better. They don't get stuck in a story. If you think about the people you admire, it is because they get better. They evolve. They become bigger versions of themselves. They don't get stuck in any one mode of being. They don't get stuck in any one season. They don't get defined by any one identity. They adapt, they enlarge, they grow. Being objective is what gives you access to that. The second surprising thing about good human beings is that they are ambitious. Now that's interesting because in some cultures, ambition is frowned upon. You are seen to be a good person if you defer to others, if you are a servant, if you don't big note your own goals and dreams, if you don't speak about where you're going, if you become content with your lot in life. However, that creates major dilemmas for the human being, because that stagnation means that if you're not growing, you are dying. So you are actually becoming worse if you are standing still. And the beautiful thing is that to desire is human. So good human beings are not pretending they don't have desire. They are honest. They are realizing that they are ambitious for more. They do want to have a bigger experience of life, a better experience of life, and they are organizing themselves toward that vision they have for themselves. They haven't given up. They haven't settled. They're not surviving. They're not half-assing their way through life. They are bringing their best. They have a noble ambition for their life. They are actively seeking to make the world a better place. One of the things that drives them is on their deathbed to look back and see their contribution and to know that in some way, big or small, they have contributed meaningfully. They have lessened the suffering on the planet. They have added value to those around them. Good human beings, they are definitely ambitious. They are trying to do something bigger and better with their lives. The third surprising thing about genuinely good human beings is that they are secure. This is surprising because so very few people ever find a way out of insecurity, simply because the culture of insecurity is that it's not a solvable problem. It's something you mask and manage and medicate. It's just, we all have our insecurities and you kind of just use them and hide behind them, and it's part of the messiness of being human. But if you can understand the structure of this problem, you realize that it's all based on a misunderstanding. It's a work of fiction, orienting from the opinion of a child. So the problem with insecurity is that it weakens you as a human being. It diverts all your best energy towards defending yourself and protecting yourself. There's always something to prove and defend. There's always an aggressive edge to you. There's always a distrust with the world. You are always afraid you're going to be found out. So therefore there's a bunch of game playing. So secure human beings, on the other hand, they've already resolved that they're worthy, that they're good, that they're valuable, and so they show up with nothing to prove and nothing to defend. Therefore, they come into the world with their cup full. They don't come needy, they don't come desperate, they come with something to give. And they come with something out of the overflow of their own experience. In order to be a secure human being, you have had to develop a beautifully loving and accepting relationship with yourself. If you know how to love yourself, you will also know how to love others. You will understand the nuance of loving relationships because you have developed the nuance of a loving relationship with yourself first. The fourth surprising thing about genuinely good human beings is that they are pragmatic. I love thinking about pragmatism as a way of organizing your best ideas, organizing your theories, your beliefs, your ideas in a hierarchy of what works best. What gives you more of what you want? What translates into success? Pragmatic people evaluate theories based on the success of their practical application. Does this idea work in the real world? Does it give me more of what I want? Is it good for me? Is it good for the people around me? Does it add value to my life? If it does, keep it, enhance it, optimize it. If it doesn't, it has no value to me. Therefore, pragmatic people do not get stuck in ideologies. They don't get stuck in theology. They don't get stuck in traditions. They don't get stuck in irrational small-mindedness, in immature distinctions about preference and taste. They change quickly. If you are a pragmatic person, that means you hold beliefs tightly and loosely at the same time. You believe things wholeheartedly because that's what you need to have it work in the real world. But the moment someone shows you a better way, well, you jettison what you've had and reach for what they've had so that you can find a better plan and you can find a more effective strategy to get more of what you want. Pragmatic people have more fun in life too because they're not tied down to a way of being. They adjust quickly. They are nimble. They move toward their goals. They are not easily stopped. And for that reason, they're always getting better. They are genuinely good human beings because they are more likely to be growing and evolving and at a more rapid pace than those who are not pragmatic. And the final surprising idea about genuinely good human beings is that they're kind. Which is probably no surprise if you think about it. I love seeing this demonstrated dramatically in a movie or a book. If there's a nefarious character, someone who's dark or underhanded or a bit tricky or a bit conniving, and yet under pressure they're also kind. Kindness covers a multitude of sins. They are still a very likable human being. If you show up kind, then you genuinely care for those around you and you bring good. If you have kind eyes, you are a lovely human being. There's something beautiful about your soul. There's something pure about who you are. And we'll forgive you for a bunch of other things as long as you are kind. If you can organize your decision making as a kind human being, then you're also considerate of others. The word kind comes from the word kin. Kin, if you are kin, well, we are the same. So I see you in me. You and me are on the same team. We are brothers, we are family, we are kindred, we are the same. So kindness is to see yourself in the world, is to see you in others, and to treat others as though you are treating yourself. It's the great commandment. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. That is kindness. Kind people are good human beings. So there are the 5 most surprising qualities of genuinely good human beings. They are objective, they are ambitious, they are secure, they are pragmatic, and they are kind. May you be a good human being.